Everyone's in survival mode. People's interest rates, they don't even know what the hell, they don't even want to think about that.
Criticism could lead to improvement, and improvement is what wins elections.
This Epstein files are coming out. We're learning all this shit that's going on. I'm shocked. It's like I feel cheated on, but I love her. You know, I love America. I love
What's going on, everybody? This is the Rush Hour Podcast. My name is Stone Zhang. This is my co-host, Mike Pickens, and we're both entrepreneurs, and we both care a lot about the economy. We care about politics, and we're hoping to just offer kind of a non-paid-for view in terms of current events and kind of like a layman almost in the world of politics, because obviously we're not politicians, we're not political commentators. We're definitely not getting paid to say this. So,
and I think it's very important that just us as men in the community start speaking up more, because we do have a voice, and you don't have to just be some politician or some big millionaire businessman to form an opinion and talk, because a lot of the stuff that's being put as the narrative, if no one's speaking up,
Yeah. So it's important to have a conversation about this stuff. So I'm about to just play this video. I think it's kind of funny at certain parts. So,
to business leaders, so many friends, few enemies, and all of the distinguished guests. It's a who's who, I will say that.
Okay, just before we get into dissecting some of the stuff he says, I am at my core a bit of a Trump supporter. I voted for him in 2016. I voted for him in the most recent election. I didn't freak out when he lost because there was all kinds of shit happening last election. But, in general, in my in my close history, I have been a Trump supporter. However, I think execution-wise, there's some things that you can point out, and it's not bad to criticize. I think criticism could lead to improvement, and improvement is what wins elections, theoretically, in a perfect world. Not every time.
I also think that, I would say I support Trump, but I didn't vote in 2016. I didn't vote recently because I feel like a lot of this stuff, I feel like everybody's all a part of the same system. So really what I'm an advocate for is a whole new political system where people, like we said, we're trying to give them more fulfilled, unpaid, with no type of rhetoric, just straight, normal, everyday guys that have a perspective on what's going on in our world that's affecting our communities.
I've come to this year's World Economic Forum with truly phenomenal news from America. Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of my inauguration, and today, after 12 months back in the White House, our economy is booming, growth is exploding, productivity is surging, investment is soaring, incomes are rising, inflation has been defeated, our previously open and dangerous border is closed.
I think it's just I know earlier I was talking about the border, but the whole thing about inflation being defeated is really funny because he's trying to influence Jerome Powell so hard. And I actually think I think there's been coverage of it, but people are kind of focusing on the pettiness and what people are saying to each other. But I think the kind of the main issue with the fight against inflation is that there's also this other side where people need to believe in buying our treasuries, right? Because that's not necessarily directly intertwined, but it is very much, they influence each other. And I feel like if Trump makes it very clear to the rest of the world that there is political, what is it called? There is a significant political influence on how our economy prints money, then there's just always going to be this incentive to print more money because that puts money in the pockets of voters. And at least in the short term, they're happy. And, pre-election, that's always going to be a go-to thing if the administration can influence the reserve. And that is, if our money is unsafe in that way, then it's it's highly likely that the rest of the world will stop buying our treasuries. And just kind of like a high level overview of how that
But
works
do you
is
think
like,
that would ever like? I know that in theory that's what a lot of people say,
Mhm.
but do you think in reality, do you think that people would ever think to themselves like America just isn't safe to bet on money wise?
well, not right now. Not right now. I think if you
And I
look
don't
at
see
any other
any
country,
type of shift unless completely like America just like blows up. There's nothing that's gonna stop America from being the
yeah.
you know,
Well, so I think, so obviously, I think over the next 10 to 30 years, we have the capacity to at least hold on to power, right? But my big thing is that, and this is kind of like more like a viewpoint shaped by Ray Dalio. He writes a lot of like economic stuff, but I um, I believe like the status of being a world power is granted to you by other countries because of the fact that they allow you to deficit spend. The only
Right.
reason why our country can deficit spend is because other countries will bet on us and they'll give us money via treasury by purchasing treasuries to let us to spend money that we don't really have. Essentially, we owe everybody else, and that's what our like rising debt and all that terrible stuff is. But kind of the yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk too much into like that. I don't want to get too far into the economics, but it's
I mean, it's
that's
important.
one of the, yeah,
It's definitely important in what you're saying, but
that I feel like it's just funny that I mean it kind of is like it's an admirable thing about Trump that he's a little bit like I'm the best because everybody wants to be like I'm the best. You know?
I think you should definitely like in slang when we say pop your shit. I mean, if you are doing what you said you were gonna do and then you do it and overachieve at it, pop your shit.
Yeah, I mean it's good to be there's a tool. Arrogance is a tool, is what I'm trying to say, and I think he has used it pretty well. Obviously, he's the president of the United States. That is a pretty big accomplishment. So he knows how to use it correctly, but it's just sometimes comical because there's times when he doesn't use it correctly, and he's just a bit arrogant. I think here it's like whatever, but it's just kind of funny because he does try to pressure Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, and if he gets what he wants, that'll actually make inflation kind of worse. If he lowers interest rates, we're in real estate. We know that the prices of housing will rise. Will that solve the affordability crisis? Probably not. But it serves.
I think I'm a firm believer.
I'm not
I think
unhappy about it.
Andrew Tate says it all the time. I feel like if more men between the ages of like 22 to 35 or 22 to 40 could own a home, get a wife, and be able to take care of their family, none of this shit would even matter. We wouldn't even be sitting here talking about this right now. I feel like that would have been able to put like us in a better system for them to try to control now. But
so
none of this makes sense.
And kind of the yin and yang of this, I mean, not yin and yang, but kind of like the fucked up part about this situation is that like in a way, him pushing for lower interest rates does make it possible for more people to own a home and have a stable life, save for the future, and then potentially have a family, right? And then, but the whole thing about lowering them now is it's a short-term band-aid, and it'll just jack the prices up. Which is like me and you, we're both in real estate. In fact, we're filming this in one of your houses that you just recently built, and
yes, sir.
Looks beautiful. I'll probably put some footage on the screen showing the place, but we're both involved in real estate. So in terms of like our incentives, I'm happy for it. I in terms of like if what would make me more money, lowering interest rates would make me more money because it would jack the prices of the houses that we own and that we have stakes in, and we'd make more money, right? But if you're talking about like the average American, a lot of people our age, they don't even think there is a path to home ownership. And
I mean, because I feel like we talk about interest rates, and I feel like to the common person, like the people that don't even know what you're talking about, sounds like gibberish. The main thing is how to make the book, how to get the money to where interest rates, where that would even mean anything to me. Because I feel like a lot of people don't even know. I feel like people watch this stuff, but they don't even know the language. They don't know the lingo. So how do we make the money? How do we? Because everybody's like in survival mode right now.
Yeah.
So like that's what people are doing. Like that's what I feel like the common person. Everyone's in survival mode. People's interest rates, they don't even know what the hell. They don't even want to think about that. So I feel like as Trump needs to do a better job on, and I feel like all politicians need to do a better job on speaking to us, because I feel like they're talking at Davos to them. They're speaking to these amongst of all these elite people, and they're speaking in a language that I feel like the common person doesn't know. And I feel like that's why shit that's going on with Jeffrey Epstein, all the stuff that's popping out.
I mean, like Trump kind of ran on transparency, and that's really one of my big gripes with Trump is that he, I don't think all of it's intentional, right? Part of what I liked about him was a little bit of his arrogance and the fact that he'd just be like a little gung ho and, like
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you have to be like that.
But it's just that like. Like what you said with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It's just like the transparency and the execution and all that it's the really kind of the problem I think at the core is Trump's just kind of old nowadays. And
he's old and he's an asshole. So I feel like if he was himself, but had a little bit more compassion, a little bit more empathy when he spoke, I feel like he would get through. It would be hard for the other side to make him seem to make him seem like a devil. To make him to a point where so many people have never met this man, but literally hate him so much. And I mean, honestly, I don't see why. I mean, even if I don't agree with them, the level of way that people go, the extreme people go, and the stuff that they say, and just how much they hate him, and they've never met him, don't even know, never watched any of his speeches. It's crazy to me, but that's the media.
I mean, I think it does say something about like the state of where like how people are on like a moral level. Is like, I think I would be on it. To be honest, like I think it's kind of fine to hate a politician because they kind of serve and they sit in a position that makes them different than just like regular people, and it also offers a lot of them, ways. There's corruption.
That's the problem. That's the problem we're in right now because just like what you just said, I feel like same thing with police officers. Same thing we see maybe with ISIS. Or not ISIS, sorry, ICE. Same thing we see with ICE, the same thing we see with politicians, the same thing we see with police. I mean, people get in these positions, bro, and start thinking that they're above us. They think they're above everybody. And that's the problem. Because, like you said, you're going to have a huge level of corruption. And that's why I feel like, that's why I'm not an advocate for any party. And we need to make our own party. And like I said, men of ourselves and our community need to speak up. And we need to figure something out amongst ourselves because leaving it in their hands, we're seeing that it's just not an effective. Route.
I mean, I just think I think one of the biggest things kind of like leading to this perception that we need to start a new party is that the media has almost failed the people. That like nobody trusts anything institutional anymore. You can see it in the view counts. I watch a lot of Dave Smith and he talks about it, a little bit ad nauseum, but he basically none of the major news stuff, which, Trump always talks about how terrible the news networks are. None of them matter.
Fake news.
Yeah. But like none of them matter anymore. Obviously it's still terrible.
Well, I think honestly, bro, I think people our age and younger don't watch CNN, don't watch Fox News. I think it's like our parents.
Yeah.
Your
which does matter though, because that's where a lot of the wealth is, let's be honest.
That's true. That's where the wealth is.
But still,
like that's slowly dying away.
Yeah.
So what
Not
are
to be
they?
crass, but yeah.
So it's like So it's like what?
I mean,
this generation now, with not watching the news, with most of us going on Instagram, going on X, going on Facebook to get our information, where it's just a quick 30-second clip, a minute clip, where you're getting news now. What does it do for like journalism and the way that the system that works for our parents and grandparents that's dying?
Yeah. Well, my big thing is that the big thing that I think the big takeaway, at least from the loss of the institutional media versus like the more fragmented social media landscape is just that not to sound super corny, but like the diversity of opinion within the less restricted space of the institutional media is very like everything's orchestrated.
But
like
if you don't do institution, then it kind of becomes private. And people trust public information because they feel like it's supposed to be the truth.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that really
How do you
changed.
switch it? How do you change it though? What do you switch it to? Because then now it has to go be it. So who would then run the media to push public information that wouldn't be fake?
Well, the whole thing is that I guess,
or would you have a bunch of system of private networks where you would just go into a path of what you believe in?
So I think that's always going to be kind of like a presence that within any social media, that there's going to be these echo chambers that arise. But I think there will always be money in doing some reporting and exposing some shit, right? There will always, like that guy who, it was like that Minnesota daycare stuff. You remember seeing that where all the federal funds were going? That guy became a star overnight. And I think he has his own, I mean, I didn't really keep up with him. I don't even really remember his name, but he did like a couple, I mean, he posted a lot on social media. There's a lot of other people reposting him, and he documented fraud within Minnesota. Now, like, let's be honest, that's probably a drop in the bucket in terms of the grand scheme of things. But that kid made a name for himself. And I think that is kind of the engine that is supposed to keep the media alive. Now, I think the big thing about institutional media right now at this current stage is that they are dying pretty much. Yeah. They're losing a lot of ad deals to the things that would be, if social media didn't exist, things that would otherwise have to advertise through things like TV.
Yeah, and that's the thing, TV. I mean, that with social media, with these phones, I mean, like, you're not turning on the TV to watch. You're not sitting at your couch and turning on the TV. No more.
And the reality is, even beside the point that we're not watching anymore, is that these companies invested for a future where they were going to still be the main thing watched. And they are quite in a lot of cases, they're not making money.
I think after everything that's going on with Jeffrey Epstein, I think the media or even the world government, I think they have within a small time frame to really give out a real strong response or to give some type of information to as of what we are reading and try to help filter out what is. And that's the thing. Can you trust them to even try to have them give us a filter of what's some bullshit and what's actually the truth? And that's why, man, I just feel like it's like I don't know who to trust. Like, even with Trump, I feel like he was a better option because I do feel like the way he talks and everything that he's, the way he carries himself, it just gives me a more vibe of someone that's not easily controlled to where I felt like with other politicians, it just comes off like they're just reading a script. Yeah,
and it's like Joe Biden.
Did you hear about that?
What?
They said in 2019 that he was shot and executed, and that it's in the Epstein files that in 2019 he was executed, and
that kind of sounds crazy.
The Joe Biden that existed in our presidency term was a body double. And
that's crazy,
bro. Look, I don't know if it's true, and stuff like this is it's so extreme, bro. But is it true, bro?
Assassination. Okay, I spelled that wrong, but in 2019, okay, News Insider 24/7. I don't know how viable this. I mean, this specific source, at least. I don't know how trustworthy this is. A document included in the Department of Justice's latest Epstein-related files release contains. They're verified, so they must be legit.
It's a body double. So my thing is, who makes these? And the question is, why isn't this on CNN on the front pages? Why isn't this on everything? Who was this president that was standing amongst us, talking to everybody? Got the whole Democratic Party, people advocating in the streets, all this mass people pushing hate towards Trump. Who is this guy? Who's the body double? Who's behind the mask? And who authorizes this type of level of deception?
Is this real though? I mean, so I feel like the big takeaway though is that
So that's the main question right now. I think of everybody's head, just how you just said that.
yeah.
With these 3 million pages of Epstein files in this past week, that people, bro, this is the shock that everyone's in.
Yeah.
Is this shit real?
Yeah. I guess there's no telling because there is. It's like it could be, and it's the fact that it could be real that's so fucked up. It's like seeing this image. If I saw this when I was like,
it doesn't
15,
look like the Joe Biden that we saw.
Yeah. I mean, if I saw this shit when I was like 15, I'd be like, bro, like, what are you looking at? But now I'm looking at this and I'm like, I mean, like, I've seen theories of this and it could be real.
The Epstein files.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell what they're releasing to us on such a minuscule scale, but bro, Joe Biden was killed in 2019. That was what's that, 7 years ago?
So I'm gonna just be real right now. I don't necessarily believe if this is true, but the fact is that a lot of stuff was released in Epstein files that was like, I think
so. If it was
confirmed,
if it was confirmed,
yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, I think that all this really shows is that it kind of just showing more of what I think a lot of people are already starting to realize.
They come out right now.
Yeah.
Donald Trump hops on TV, boom, brings out a guy. Like, yo, what's up? This the guy that was Joe Biden. They like, yo, he's like, yo, this was me. We killed him in 2019. How do you react to that shit?
I mean, it's just more so
as an everyday guy, bro. When you wake up, when you go to work the next day, you just watch that. Like, what do? You're like, yo, wait, Joe? That wasn't Joe Biden.
So I think this. It's like this is I think the first thing most people would think, and this is including me, is that this is some like real kind of deep state related stuff. So again, when I'm talking about this, I'm saying this with the idea that I actually am kind of skeptical. I think with the release of the Epstein files, a lot of stuff has come out.
With the Epstein files coming out and what they're telling us, bro, you gotta. It's no longer. I think. See, look, I think we live in such a time where it's like this is too typical. This is too like no. This seems like a fucking movie.
Yeah,
bro. Movies, and people tell you all the time that movies, they put it in your face to dumb you down for the real shit that's going on. Like,
I believe that. I think there's some pretty sick stuff in Hollywood.
Yeah, and you know what?
Netflix right now.
But what I don't like is with the Epstein files is how much they try to make it seem like Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump are like partners and all this shit. Mm-hmm. Like you don't see Jeffrey Epstein without a picture next to Trump.
Yeah.
Why is that so much? Like,
I mean, so I think the big reason is that it's scandalous and you could probably get more clicks. So there's probably a profit incentive, but I definitely believe that, there's political money backing that as well.
The DOJ released this on their site, right? So it took them a while to release the Epstein files. And if they release these files and this is what's in it, why is the DOJ releasing files are these files not fact checked? Like, so they're just releasing his emails that he's had in his email box. They just gave us all his emails and these pictures of his house and all this stuff.
Yeah, I think at this point the big thing is that so first of all, I really don't know if this is real. Just because
why is it in the Epstein files?
I mean, this is just kind of like a Facebook post though. So I could go look. I could go look elsewhere.
I mean, you would actually have to go look at the files, and go in there and try to look it up and see if it's.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess so. This without saying this is like a believable source. I mean, this looks like NPR, PBS.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know if it's true.
Yeah, but
any of the stuff in the files, we don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing. I think the big takeaway is just that. Really, how can you trust the administration? Right. And I think
the government,
I think, we talked about this a couple of weeks back, we were talking about Venezuela, and I think you were a little bit more supportive. What would you say?
I would say, so look, I'm not a general, I'm not a politician. I can only go based off the facts that was presented to me. Mm-hmm. And from the information that was, I feel like America did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I work with a lot of different Hispanics from different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. And a couple of my guys are Venezuelan. Mm-hmm. And when they speak about what Trump did, they're happy. He's like a hero.
Yeah.
So me listening to them being from that country, them knowing more about Maduro and their home country and why they left, for them to hear that now that he's eradicated, they want to go home.
Yeah.
They're ready to go home now. And so to me, that's getting like face value. This isn't, the news. This isn't nothing that was like propaganded on me. Like, this is real life Venezuelans that I'm talking to. So now the way he went about it, they said it was wrong by not getting permission from Congress. But it's like, look, man, if you have a shot, take it.
I mean, I think like let's like in reality, like you're talking about like video game style, like you first guy who shoots wins, right? But like I think the big thing that I think a lot of the kind of criticism might have been a little overblown, and like I watch a lot of Dave Smith. I think he's being a little harsh because it did wind up being relatively successful. I think there must have been some kind of behind the scenes coordination because
they said there was a whole military compound and we didn't lose any equipment. We didn't lose any soldiers. And it was like, they lost like, I think it was in 100 something.
Yeah. So I feel like there was some.
The discombobulator?
Yeah. That clip is so funny. I was just thinking of the Robert Downey Jr. clip. You ever watch Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
I mean, he says like he discombobulates a dude. Anyways, the whole thing, I think with that, it's like, it depends on how you view it, right? I think that if your focus is like Trump in terms of his decision making, how fast he was able to do it, and in a war, those would be very like important things to have. But I feel like the kind of the gray area, and I'm not really making a harsh stance when I say this, but
you got to stop giving credit to Donald Trump when it comes to certain military operations. With my brother being active duty, well, he served 8 years in the military, and it's like Donald Trump is just the face.
Yeah, he's not actually out.
The Department of War are the ones that put that together.
Yeah.
So the credit goes to the soldiers that executed that shit. The credit goes to more of the military. So I feel like, and that's why I feel like the veil of us like releasing what I think the truth needs to get put out, and we need to stop giving so much praise to Trump or whoever the president is for what's being done, or we need to stop giving hate to him for shit that he has no control over. He got like, our president is just a representation of us, but he's not the one executing these plans. Like ICE,
that is true.
He's not. Everybody like putting him with ICE. ICE is controlled by Congress. So why isn't the common person needs to go to and fight with Congress? So I feel like we need to be more informed and actually go after. We give credit or we criticize the actual source, and stop doing this whole thing that we're doing with just like, oh, Trump, thank you for this, thank you for that. He's just a face. Like when we're watching the World Economic Forum, he's just reading. He's reading a teleprompter, bro. Somebody
virtually impaired.
That is true. That is true.
We want to, as me as a common person and me just dealing with how I deal, I want to get to the people who wrote it.
Yeah.
Let's forget Trump. He's just the guy that we voted to talk for us. Who's the person writing the speech for? These are the people that we need to know about. Who put Joe Biden in? Who's the body double? Who authorized that?
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was going to bounce off of when you brought up that article in the first place. It's just, most people would, I think so. Most people.
Who runs our government?
Yeah. Most people would.
It's not Donald Trump.
Most people would immediately, when they think of the deep state, they think of people potentially like Marco Rubio and stuff like that. But like, really, the deep state is not elected officials.
That's what I'm saying.
The deep state is, and I'm kind of almost saying this word for word from like a Dave Smith podcast, but like the deep state is the guy who he was basically telling the story about, or one of the guests on Dave Smith was talking about the story where at the CIA, there was a person who worked in the office who was 80 years old, and they were throwing a party because he just got renewed or approved for like extended service, basically saying that he could work longer. And it's like, it's those dudes who are 80 years old, have been working at the CIA for like 50 to 60 years.
Would you say that the CIA is really like our government, like the ones that control everything?
I think, it's a little corny to like make the comparison to like all our empires, just like the previous empire. But I think a very interesting story is like um, what are they called? The Praetorian Guard. Have you ever heard of the Praetorian Guard?
Mm.
So the Praetorian Guard was like, I'm pretty sure it was like let me just double check this real quick. So,
But see, this is what I want. I want us to stop like we're asking all the wrong questions. I feel like by us even sitting here having a topic of Donald Trump and all the shit, we're falling into the trap. We're falling into the narrative. We're falling into the puppet show, right? Us as listening to what's going on now, we don't want the puppet show anymore. Okay, like we don't care who the next president is because obviously we're seeing that this could be a guy with a mask on.
Yeah.
Right. Us as the common people, we want to know who is behind. Who is the deep state? Who are these people? Who's running us? Because if that's the case, especially with this coming out with these people being, Satanists and eating babies and shit, we need to move more into maybe the old laws of the land, into a more private system. Because I don't want my president eating babies.
Yeah, there's like very serious moral questions with I think a lot of the recent controversies. And it's even like, I would even like, because, I'm not gonna go as far to say that what you said about ICE was wrong, because I think, it is out. ICE really is like day to day, people are clashing, right? People might die, right? And I think that's not necessarily Trump's fault.
Misinformation. Though.
Yeah. But kind of, oh yeah. But like,
I would say it's misinformation because the media was causing these deaths. Like, it's not ICE. It's not, I wouldn't even, a lot of these people are, how can I put it? I think the human race is very sensitive. I think a lot of people are sensitive, and I feel like it's very easy to evoke emotion. You could say, I know there's been multiple studies where certain words, certain frequencies that people hear are going to make people more like, crazy.
Input, output.
So I feel like the media, and this is what I'm saying, like with all the stuff that's releasing, it's starting to make more sense now on why they're pushing people to try to stop ICE raids, stop ICE agents. ICE is a federal agency. These are federal people. Even if they feel like they're under trained, these people go and train for like a month or two, whatever the fuck the system is. And then they get put out, they swore an oath, and no different than any organization, FBI, the military, police officers. So I feel like in anything where you're telling people to go out and fight these guys and stop them, that's basically what's next. You're going to start telling people to tackle the police and to, stop the police from doing their job.
Yeah.
Like, and at the end of the day, I mean, look, I think it's very sad that, people are getting deported. I feel like America is a land of the free. Like land of the free, there is like the American dream. I know we was talking about, do we think it's dead now? But you can't go to any other country, bro. And us as Americans being the elite of the world, in Game of Thrones, where this is King's Landing, this is like, the best place to be. We can't even go into a third world country that's a shithole and just walk around. Like if you get caught in fucking Haiti, you're gonna deport it. You can't just go anywhere else in the world and just be there without there's a system set in place. So, bro, America needs to follow that system as well. I don't think they're all criminals, but I mean, Maduro released his whole prison and sent murderers and killers straight to America and told them to go rape Americans, go kill Americans. So if you have all of this happening with an open border, it's like, okay, I understand all these people that are advocating for the positive side, which is, all the people, the illegal immigrants that are here that are, paying taxes, that have families, that are good people, that aren't doing the bad. Like I feel bad for those people.
Yeah.
But with laws that are put in place, the system that's put in place, everything that's ever been done, you have to go with the negative side of things. What could happen? That's why you buy insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why you have certain things for what could happen. So when you have people coming over here and killing people, what about the families of the people whose son or daughter was raped by an illegal immigrant? That, in a sense of like that, that's a person who is an American
Yeah,
that
it's like
their country like failed them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
So you have to go more inside with the negative with those people, and you have to kind of like have more compassion for the people that are being affected by this, than just saying like, oh well, my friend Jose, he's a good guy, man. ISIS is bad because I don't want my boy Jose to get deported.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is, Jose just didn't come over here legally, and our borders they suck. He got over here illegally, and if he gets caught up, I mean, hey man, he has to go back, and he has to come back over the right way. And that's just the laws of the land. That's just the law of all lands. So you don't just take that away. And I just feel like anybody that doesn't have that type of like common sense, it's kind of like, how did they get there?
Yeah. I mean, kind of an interesting story to kind of like piggyback off of that is right now I'm house hacking in Royal Oak, which is a very kind of expensive market in Michigan. I have a house that I'm living in the bottom floor. I'm renting out the top floor, building up equity. The top guy, the guy living on the top floor, he's there with his wife. He's from, I believe, Slovakia. So he's foreign. He has like a work visa. He's like some high level automation engineer. So this guy's paid. But his work visa didn't get renewed because the Trump administration prioritized American companies. And at first, I was kind of like, bro, what the hell? We want to be keeping dudes like this. The automation engineers. This guy was never late on rent. I like him, so I want to keep him. But he was very like cool about it. He was like, oh, my company has the resources. He's getting relocated to Canada for a year. He's, I'm helping him move out to London, Ontario. And then he said he's going to come back after a year. He's just going to apply. And he did it right in the first place, which gives him the right to reapply.
I mean, my twin brother, man, he's married to a woman from Kyrgyzstan. And, they went through a whole system to get her over here. They have a beautiful son. I think she has her citizenship now, if I'm not mistaken. And, they went about it the right way. And she doesn't have any worries. She doesn't have to worry about getting deported or anything like that. And it's just, there's ways to go about things, especially when you, just so happen to be born in another country, you want to move to another country. This is what happens. This is what you have to do. Yeah,
kind of like the given is that you have to, if you want to go into someone else's country or somebody else's house even, you got to live by their rules. I mean, you got to at least like for the time that you're there.
For the time that you're there, I mean. So, and then we all know at the end of the day, I feel Trump because look, man, a lot of people, they say, if you talk to any of these foreigners, they say all the time, like, America is they don't want to be here, they're only here to get a buck.
Yeah.
So if you're only here to make money, then, I mean, it's only right that the good thing to do is let us make some money. You make some money, you got to pay to get over here, and then you can make some money.
Yeah.
And it helps our economy. That's that's you paying into our system. And that's the right way to go about it. And that's what I believe. But if you have a news outlet, CNN, all these news outlets and people promoting violence by going out here and rioting and trying to physically stop ICE, running them over, tackle them, stopping arrests, what do you think happens? If you go to a police officer right now and they're arresting someone and you tackle him or hit him with your car, what's going to happen?
Yeah, some fucked up shit. Literally though, I mean, you close the window? Okay. But yeah, I mean, like with they're definitely not helping the situation. If you're an institutional media network and you're glorifying certain types of behavior, you're painting certain types of, people who are in jobs that are necessary. It's not like these were the first people to ever be ICE agents.
Should be neutral.
Yeah.
They should be neutral, bro. There should be no news station. Fox News shouldn't be Republican. CNN shouldn't be Democrat. No news station that's releasing news to the masses that we're retaining and trying to say, but this is the truth. All of them need to be neutral. There should not be anything that I can turn on the TV and all of us on this whole block can turn on one TV and watch one news station. Everybody in each household is different. So when you have them only pushing one narrative, it's harmful.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's kind of fucked up because, I mean, we were talking a little earlier about like social media and like what does it mean for, the relationship between media and the public. And I almost feel like it because of social media. It's impossible. It's impossible for the. I mean, the first thing that makes it really tough is the First Amendment because I feel like there's a lot of implications. I think like the FTC was involved with like I don't know, that whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel back in the day. But most of this other shit that's going on, FTC doesn't do shit. So it's like, if, I don't know, I'm just saying, like there's not really a governing body for this other than the companies that have their platform, right? But my personal belief is that would be bad in the first place to like regulate speech in that way. Not necessarily in short term, but I think long term
they have the freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have the freedom to spew hate, and freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have the ability to just get on a public platform and lie.
Yeah.
Like even though I have the right to say anything, I do, but it comes to a point where I feel like, you need to regulate in a sense where like maybe a new law needs to get put in place where it might be like, a fucking felony or some shit, misdemeanor or whatever. It might catch a case for certain things you say.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the tricky part of that. Where like, what if? It's just like, what if like what we were talking about at the beginning? Like, what if some fucked up dude gets into the position that determines whether what you say is real or not? And they might do that to enforce censorship.
That's we're in. I mean, with these Epstein's files, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Some fucked up people are in power and are enforcing censorship and controlling us, bro.
Yeah. And so that's kind of what I'm saying, though, is like if you start giving whatever. I mean, this agency doesn't exist, right? We were just talking about how social media probably realistically can't be regulated to the point that TV institutions are, just because there's so many different moving parts now.
Well, X with Elon, he does the fact check. They fact check some of the things that are put on there.
Yeah, I think it's good to have.
That's something good to have, and if we can learn how to maybe, with AI or whatever, put in a system to where anything that's put out that's not factual needs to be deleted. Because like if I go on Instagram right now and I try to post a provocative picture. Mm-hmm. It's going to get taken down. Yeah, if I keep doing it, my page is going to get deleted.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that needs to get put out. We need a system to put out too. If I go on there and I'm telling everybody that 2 + 2 is 5, that video needs to get taken off.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some type of regulation on that.
I think definitely. So the part where I actually am very much an advocate for that is like, let's talk about like the financial news space, because I got some buddies who do a lot. They have some pretty successful newsletters, and I'm kind of very like into watching content from the financial news space. But there is just so much terrible, misleading, false information.
I mean,
and you should, like cryptocurrency and that. I think kind of viewing it from that perspective, I think there is actually a lot of cases where you're right, where like the government probably should step in and create an agency where it's like, okay, like you can't be on social media going like, buy this random like fart coin.
Yeah. I mean, you got teenagers coming up with coins, making millions of dollars, and just if with good advertisement, good promo, you get people that get trapped into this and buy into it. Yeah. And
that needs to be regulated.
It needs to be regulated.
And also, I guess with that in mind, it's like, if you're talking about, it's kind of interesting now that like I'm thinking about it a little more, because like I do a lot of like ads work with Google Ads, and they have things that they have like policy that differentiates regular content from political content. So it's like, I guess like if that company is able to do it, and whether it's right or wrong, maybe another different conversation, but like it could be possible for the government to identify political content and open a route for potential litigation, right? If it's false about somebody. I mean, I guess that already exists, but I guess what you're talking about.
That's so much shit. I mean, what we were talking about, the media has done it so much with Trump. I mean, Trump can come out there, I'm pretty sure they chopped and screwed a lot of stuff that he said here. And, in the contents of what he said they made it seem like he said it differently. So like when he said January, the whole famous January 16th, there are fine people on both sides.
Mhm.
You know, when you go into and they post that and they keep saying this, you know, put it out to people like he's a monster. He said there's fine people on both. And then you play the video and what he actually meant. The media should not be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I think that could be it could be prosecutable. I think it's kind of a slippery slope, but like
it should be.
I think there should be a conversation about it at least. I think they should be talking about like
it shouldn't be allowed.
Is it okay?
Because you're lying.
Is it okay to straight up lie?
You're just straight up lying and you're manipulating.
Yeah.
You're getting manipulated. A lot of people here, all of us are getting manipulated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so and then here's the other side of that coin though, right? Like let's say this is put into place. Can that be because like clearly, and I'm not saying this to like dog on Trump, but in a way, I mean this is part of his track record. He lied about the Epstein files. He said they didn't exist. He said in that meeting, he was like, you guys are still talking about the Epstein files. That dude is terrible, blah, blah, blah. The files don't exist, blah, blah, blah. And he had everybody who works for him say the same thing. So it's like, but, you know, in that context, actually, though, I agree with you very much. I think that there could be, or there maybe should be, litigation open about that. Maybe not during his presidency, because I feel like
that's where Trump lost so much of us. Like, that's where he lost us, bro. Like, because in the beginning, man, he was pushing that shit. Like, release the files.
Yeah.
I'm about to let y'all know about aliens. I'm about to let y'all know about JFK.
Yeah.
I'm about to let y'all know all this shit. Now, maybe, like I said, when you're not a president and you're not in that seat because we don't know who actually runs shit, of course he was saying a bunch of shit that he wanted to do. But the moment that you get put in office and they come to you and say, look, all that shit you were talking about, look, this is how we do this shit. You know, you can't do anything about it. So maybe he's put in a position where, you know, a lot of people want to do anything, but the moment you get sworn into office, we don't know what that's like. Being a president of the United States of America, like, and then when we know there's a deep state, when we know that there are people that the president is just a puppet. Yeah. It's like one of those things. Is like he may have said a lot of shit, but once you get put in a position, I mean, bro. I mean, like the little shit. There's 6 million Epstein files. They only released 3. There's probably more. Yeah. And they released a little soft shit just to ease their way in here.
Yeah, and it's all kind of redacted and shit. So
they're not even giving us the full. And I feel like the reason they're doing it is because one, I feel like, bro, that's why I feel like the world's kind of like at a weird spot right now. Like it's like tensions. Like you walk in a bar and everybody's like, shit. You don't know what the fuck's going on, but you know something's about to pop off. Yeah. With this type of information that's being released, bro, and they're redacting shit, and they're not giving us the full of what's going on. It's like, bro, this is like a huge problem. It's a huge problem, and I feel like everybody needs to. This is something that everyone needs to talk about. Sports Center, all like ESPN. Stop talking about sports. Like this is a crisis, man. We're talking about kids being kidnapped.
It's not gonna happen, but
we're talking about satanic rituals happening. Yeah. You know, we're talking about Joe Biden being in a body double. We're talking about Bill Gates and all this shit they're talking about with the vaccines. Mm-hmm. Like, bro. And it's like, okay, maybe now I see why Trump, you know, why they don't want this shit released. What type of panic? Do you think, bro, is there going to be a panic? Or does no one give a fuck?
I think people do give a fuck, but I think realistically, there's not really that incentive yet. Because people still making money, right? People still are like, they work their jobs. There's still a reason to wake up tomorrow and still do what you've been doing, right? People can still make money.
They literally just dropped and said, yo, hey, we killed your president. He got shot. Who shot him? Let's say, okay, I know this isn't true, but what if it is? What if all the stuff in the Epstein file is true? And these people are satanic. They believe in the Baal and Moloch, and they believe in these gods that sacrifice kids to their deity. And these are the people that are in our position of power. These are the people that are making our decisions. Mm-hmm. These are the people that stand and speak for you, that represent you. Bro, this is not anything that needs to even be. Like I said, in the beginning of this, we can't sweep this under the rug, bro. This can't be something where you just listen to and then wake up and go to work tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It can't be, bro. If any of this shit is real, we cannot just keep going like this. You can't hear all this corruption, bro, and then just be like, well, hey, I gotta get paid Friday, so.
But let me tell you, that's what I'm going to do. But like, I agree. I agree.
So
though.
at what
Like,
point would you? So what do you think? What do you think needs to happen for that to happen? At what point would you stop going to work? Like, would it have to be something where you looked and see that it was a mass thing, like millions of people are doing it, and then you would get in?
it'd be if I'm like fleeing the country.
Or like your job shuts down because the world just is like everybody's like tripping up.
I think
What
it's like,
starts that type of system? What starts the revolution? Like what starts that?
I think the big thing is when there needs to be that spark, right? And I don't really think even the ICE thing is that correct spark, and I think it still requires this notion. You know, I said my job, but there's a lot of other things that are very important to people's life. But there needs to be this void. For example, COVID was almost a time of revolution.
Almost, it was almost
because people.
They shut the NBA championship down.
Yeah, they shut everything down. So people had their livelihoods lost. They had time in the day. You know, the devil makes, what is it? The devil does something with idle hands or something like that.
Right, idle mind, yeah,
something like that. But it's just like when people have no livelihood, when they are and that's, you know, there's a lot of countries that are going through that right now, right? And
Iran.
It's when things are fucked up. And right now, you know, at least in Michigan, there's a lot of places in America, right? A lot of people forget that sometimes. A lot of places in America, some places are fucked up, some places aren't. I'd say Michigan, not very fucked up right now. In fact, Michigan's doing very well.
Yeah, doing pretty great.
Pretty great. We're both real estate professionals. We're both very happy with the trends in Michigan. But you know, there's some parts of America that are so fucked up. Like if you've ever driven through West Virginia, I recently did that.
Bro, a lot of, I'm a truck driver as well, bro. So I travel all over. I'm on these roads. I'm on these interstates. And dude, we live, you know, being from Detroit, living in what we live in, you know, maybe only traveling to like, you know, where you've traveled like, you know, Florida or coming up to big major cities. Majority of America, there's not major cities, bro. It's a lot of open farmland. It's a lot of land. And like a lot of like I don't know how to say it, like country style living.
Yeah. It's just small towns.
A bunch of small towns. Like that's maybe 80%, 70% of what America is. Mm-hmm. Small towns.
Biggest voting block, at least in Michigan, is up north, which is just like prime. It's just huge, sprawled out, and it's not a lot. It's not very heavily populated.
Right.
It's just in the middle of nowhere. A lot of these places. So it's just like a lot of these. Like I got my complaints, but I'm doing fine. But I cannot even imagine. Like I had to stop for gas in West Virginia, and it was like in the mountains, and we drove off to the side, and there was like 3 crackheads fighting at the gas station. And I'm not okay. That happens in a lot of places. Let's be honest. But no, I saw it was the first time I saw that.
Like it's like all mountains. It's like they live off like a river. It's like a river that, you know, they live on both sides. Everybody was crazy.
Beautiful place, I'm sure at a certain time of year. But
it is.
There's an economic problem in certain areas that cannot be overshadowed by a tourism industry, right? That the reasons that someone from out of state might visit, for example, it being pretty, cannot overshadow the fact that people who are living there are destitute.
Yeah.
That there's no jobs. I mean, and this is kind of what I was saying before. Is like right now things are fine. Oh, right. That's why I'm going to work. I'm doing that. But if I lived in a place like West Virginia, who's to say that I'd be fine? You know, like people.
I mean, there's a lot going on, bro.
If there's no jobs, that's when some fucked up shit can happen. It hasn't happened like large scale yet, but there's pockets of America that don't got jobs.
I'm not trying to like get us canceled before we even fully like start.
Yeah.
But I feel like, dude, because we have social media, organized events can be organized like that with no problem. Mm-hmm. This is a call, bro, for all men of all minds, bodies, and soul. Like this has nothing to do with race anymore. Like this has nothing to do with like background, rich or poor. Like this is just men in your communities wanting to provide for your families, and like we need answers to what's going on right now. America, even with China now coming out and saying that they're about to start the death penalty for anybody that touches kids. I feel like even with us like being on the world stage and everybody around the world looking at the Epstein files and just looking on what goes on in America and what we stand for, bro, this place is sickening, bro. Like, I understand we're all making money and we're all just trying to like, be like, just keep this system going because it's like familiar to us and it's comfortable. But if any of this stuff, like even a percentage of this stuff is true, bro, we have to come together. We cannot like be okay with this.
It's like the whole thing of like draining the swamp. The thing that Trump promised to do is like that really is what needs to happen. Like the deep state,
tell us everything. Release it all. Tell us everything. Give us if there's aliens, let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
whatever. If there's some big dragon coming, let us know.
Asteroid flying towards the Earth. Like, tell us, please, because I feel like it's like the fact that they're dancing around it. Yeah, they're dancing around
it.
Deep
state government thinks the common man. They think us. They look at us and think we're retarded. But I think little to that, I think they don't understand the power of social media. Because with the power of social media, it allows you then to go do private research. So I think that so much stuff is public that they don't understand that a lot of us still seek our own knowledge and still, because it is accessible. So research and shit yourself is a very real thing you can do. Anyone can research anything they want, look it up and get correct answers. I mean, at least for something that, might be correct for yourself, because there are credible sources out here that you can, research. I don't think the deep state realized that there are so many of us that are educated, that do seek our own private knowledge and aren't just stupid. Because with them putting on these charades in front of us, thinking that we're just going to accept it is like insulting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's to the point, and I was listening to Dave Smith earlier. He was saying like, it's almost like, it's like you have to sacrifice some of your own self-respect to just be like, okay, yeah, like this is exactly what I expected. This is what's like to be like, I voted for this. I love Trump. You have to sacrifice some of your self-respect to fully do that. Now, what I've prefaced everything with, I still like the guy. I think, the reality is if the deep state is as bad as everybody says, this guy we have to go after have a gun to his head.
That's what I'm saying. That's right. And that's my main thing.
It's like,
if we keep falling into this narrative and this conversation about politics, Republicans and Democrats, we keep talking about ISIS and immigration, these are all the wrong questions we're asking right now. This is all shit that's being thrown in our face for a distraction. Yeah. We're being distracted. So these conversations are really not important because we're falling into a game that's being played in our face. Yeah. So we need to say, you know what, fuck that Trump. We don't give a fuck about him. Who's controlling him? We want answers to know what's going on there. So we need to stop talking about Trump, because obviously he's just a distraction. Who's behind Trump? Who has the gun to his head? These are the answers we want to know. What's going on with these guys?
I mean,
the more of us that speak up and say that and get that out there, the more of us that sit up and say, no, I'm not putting up with that shit. Fuck Trump. Like, who the hell, bro? I got to keep talking about this because this is something that's been fucking with me.
Yeah.
If Joe Biden was really shot in 2019, and that whole presidency that he had wasn't him, and it was some mass, how many times has that been done?
That is so crazy.
Was he the first time? Was this the first time that's ever been done, or is this something that's done multiple times?
Yeah.
How many people have I thought were this person, but it's some like mass.
Yeah, I mean, it might have even if it wasn't a guy with a mask, and if there is the threat, like this is the thing, like kind of what I was saying before with the Praetorian Guard, is that the Praetorian Guard was the Roman General Secret Service, or the Roman Emperor's Secret Service. He started it so that it was separate from the military, as its own crew, and that he could control it. And eventually, they started choosing the leaders, because if they didn't like you, they would just kill you. And that is essentially, like, again, corny to draw direct parallels, but that is essentially what we see happening right now, where not necessarily directly saying that the CIA is responsible for it, or that like FBI, like I'm not saying someone specifically is responsible, but somebody who is in that realm of the strong arm of the United States government, like whether it's the CIA, people who kill people, basically.
I mean,
If
JFK.
you-
I mean, they
yeah.
say that our government killed
Yeah,
JFK.
they did. They probably, I mean, if you ask Ben Shapiro, he'll be like, there's no evidence of that. But like, I don't think that I can definitively say that the government killed JFK.
I don't think
But
no
I
one
think
can
that-
just say.
I think they benefited from his death
I mean,
because he was going to come. That's like what is it? Cui bono? CUI, who benefits?
Mm.
I mean, it's just like the government, like what we were saying, who is holding the gun to Donald Trump's head? Because like really, like you said, like all those questions, what the media is talking about, it's all bullshit. It's kind of some of it is our important stories, but it's not really how we're going to solve the problem.
We need to go. We need people need to stand up. We need to go down to Washington D.C. and we need to talk to these people. We want a public. I don't actually mean public execution, but I mean I say it in the sense of like I don't mean it in the sense of execution to say like I don't want no one getting killed. I mean like we need these people to stand amongst us in the public, not no TV screen, amongst the public and speak, and we need answers.
Yeah.
To where maybe like if it might be a couple people that people choose.
Yeah.
But these answers need to be, but we all need to see it. We need to feel the energy.
Yeah.
We need to be there, and we need to talk to these people that are in these positions of power.
Mm-hmm.
Because, bro, we got answers.
Yeah, I feel like
we need answers.
Really, like
we got questions.
It's like that. They do need to do that in response to how bad they fumbled, because it's just the fumbling is done. I think we're going kind of long, so let's wrap this up with a last conversation about Kash Patel.
Yeah.
Because like Kash Patel is one of the guys who is on the news. He's been on the news like at least twice, giving long testimonials, and he's just not really handled it. It's weird that they chose him to be the spokesperson because he looks frightened all the time.
I mean, yeah, his eyes on.
Yeah, he looks like he has a gun to his head.
He does. Like,
so it's. I mean, maybe that's the
Did
point.
you see the video where he was like, he did one of these and did one of these? Like they said, he was giving hand signals on during that shit. And so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't have any proof that he is. He does have a gun to his head, but
it looks like
it looks like. It looks like it, and like if history does repeat itself in something like the Praetorian Guard, where they were killing emperors they didn't like, they sold the government, like the position in government to the highest bidder, right? If that is repeating, then there could very well be like I almost feel for Kash Patel if that were the case, because it is. I mean. I would say there's a non-zero chance that is the case. Now, is that a bit conspiratorial? Probably. I don't have a lot of evidence to say that, but I feel like if there really is this deep state where it's like these guys are dancing. They're dancing on stage, being entertainment for us. There is this deep state. Why wouldn't they put a gun to some of their heads?
I mean, yeah, and you know what, though? Now that we're sitting here talking about it and you're saying what you're saying, Stone, I really, like, on some real shit, though. As I'm sitting here thinking, if these answers are answered, right?
Yeah.
And the truth is revealed, and let's say the veil is fully open.
Yeah.
Does life go back to normal? Do we get the answers that we're looking for, and then we know what's going on? Do you just go back? Do I go back to being an electrician, building houses? Do you go back to doing content and media and stuff like that, and then we just move on? Like, what change actually is birthed from that?
Mm-hmm.
So I am asking a question. I feel like so many people on the internet, all these podcasts, people are asking for these questions. But okay, we get our answer. Then what?
That is.
What do we do? Like, do we stop sending our kids to school? Like the system has been set in place from our generation to our grandparents to what does it look like after that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the big thing is that it would be almost like a death knell for the current administration for that stuff to be like fully, at least it already kind of is in the way that they released it sequentially, with them going back and forth, going like it doesn't exist. Oh, here's more files and blah blah blah. Oh, we're the most transparent administration in America ever. So
that's where he lost it.
Yeah, that's really where a lot. I mean, it was the death knell for this administration, and the fucked up part is that people like Zohar Mamdani are gonna win across America.
The gun to his head situation, though.
Yeah,
maybe he wanted it, but as soon as he got in office, like you said, they're like, yo, all that shit you said,
fuck all that.
Fuck all that.
Yeah,
we're not. So now he's stuck trying to be like, oh shit, and he can't just come out and say like, y'all, look, I tried to release the shit,
yeah,
but these niggas in the back said I can't.
You
know what I'm saying? Like, we need to know, but I think we should know who's in the back. You know, like who's them niggas in the back? Like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, they are in the back because they don't want to be known. So It's like there's got to be some. I mean, and this is really kind of the thing where I feel for Trump in a way, is that like to come out and let your intentions be known right off the bat, that you're gonna try to fight what's going on right now.
The system, yeah.
It's like you lose that surprise, that Pearl Harbor effect, where you can just do something devastating to them because they already know what's going to happen.
Right.
So they probably were preparing for this. I mean, they've probably been preparing for this for a long time. So it's just like, you know, they already dealt with him the first time, and then when he got in office again, they probably already had the stuff in place to just be like, well, too bad.
I mean, yeah, because honestly, I mean, maybe I think the world, you know, in the movie The Matrix, where they talk about where he said like, so many people are so deep off in the Matrix that they'll die to defend it. And I feel like with this analogy in life that we're dealing with now, this Epstein files are coming out. We're learning all this shit that's going on, but we're not leaving. Like, no one's gonna revolt. Like, this is such a comfortable situation to where, you know, America, the system, like, that's my man. Yeah. I'm not going nowhere. You feel me? Like, that's my girl. Like, the system is our way of life. Like, it's how I pay my bills. It's how I take care of my kids. It's how I live my life.
Yeah.
So even though I'm getting all this information, I'm shocked. It's like I feel cheated on. I feel like I'm mad. Like, damn, this bitch. But I love her. You know, I love America. I love, like, the system that we're in. You know, we make good money. We're living a good life. Like, it's scalable. We can do more things. It's like the gold rush of, like, achieving goals and accomplishing goals that we set for ourselves. Mm-hmm. But with this information, it's kind of like, damn, like, the relationship was good.
Yeah.
Like, everything was going good. Now it's all fucked up. Now I know too much. And it's like, I don't know if I want to be with you, but I love you.
Yeah. I mean, that is like where are we going to go if not stay in America? Because I don't have any. I mean, you could go to Canada, but I feel like shit's kind of fucked up over there.
It's going to be fucked up anywhere you go.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd rather pick the poison where I can make my own money, say whatever I want to say, carry a gun. Like, fucking just, like, I can go get some land and fuck off.
Yeah,
you can't anywhere else. Like, the government, they really have their foot on you. They're like that strict relationship, you know? It's abusive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least, like, in this relationship, I got a good sugar daddy. I got a sugar mama. Like, they're taking care of me. You know, I'm getting cheated on, but I'm getting taken care of.
Yeah, I guess that is like the perfect, that's like the perfect analogy for the Epstein thing, because it is like, it's like the administration, they cheated on us. And they're not telling us that they're not straight up admitting it, but they're tiptoeing around it. They're just doing a horrible job.
And then Trump's kind of like, yo, man, okay, I'm just going to keep bringing it up. I cheated. You know? Hey, you're not going anywhere. You're right.
But it is like one of those things where, like, he is right, but he didn't have to rub it in our face. Because
how do we leave? Where do we go? No, we're in their house.
It's like,
they're paying the bills.
I feel like the big thing is that, you know, like, we are joking about it now, but there is the real reality that after 4 more or 3 more years of this, that the majority of Americans do leave. You know, I think that really is the kind of the sad part is that like we're joking about it now. And I'm not saying leave in the sense that they're leaving America,
Right.
but they switched to a different party.
I think the next president is going to be a huge. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, with more information that's coming out, I don't think that, I think it's going to be more intense. I think there's more to come. I think there's even more shit that we're going to be listening to. So I feel like moving forward, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what we're learning, I feel like every election from here on out is just going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
The questions that people have now, it's a whole different topic. It's a whole different narrative. Like, and then with Donald Trump coming into here, being the way that he is, not being a politician, being a businessman, and just how he's rocked things the way they have and shooken everything up. The next president, the next elect, I mean, they're going to have a lot of questions. They're going to have a lot of shit that they have to, like, answer to. Because I don't know, man. Like you said, yeah, in the next 3 years, 2 years, yeah, people are going to leave. I think you're right. Like,
well, what I was saying that I wasn't necessarily they're going to subscribe to a different political ideology.
Meaning, that's what I'm saying. They're not leaving America. They're leaving the system. That's been the narrative that's been put in place. We're not putting up with it. Like right now, it's like we read those text messages. We know we're getting cheated on, so now we're creating that escape.
Yeah. We're like, I think that's really kind of the risk of the absolute horrible failure that was them handling the release of the Epstein files. And it's like the American people are, like you just said, it's just, they're setting up, obviously we're being kind of like corny and like saying, like using this analogy, but maybe not as an individual, but collectively speaking, they're setting up an escape plan.
Have a voice. If you have an opinion, if you have a thought, social media is in the place that it is now that you need to get up and say something. Because if any of this stuff is true, if anything that's going on is the truth, bro, and this what this podcast is for us, like just show like regular people where we're watching this type of stuff. And I think that, for the deep state, you guys can put all this type of shit in our face, but we're not buying it. Not all of us buy it. And,
definitely some people buy it.
With more podcasts coming out, you guys are starting to see more of us starting to speak up. More people are coming out speaking on these topics at an all-time high. You're seeing that people do buy it, but there's a rising of people that don't. And there are a lot of critical thinkers out here. And there are a lot of smart people that just aren't buying the bullshit. And we're speaking up. And with more information that's coming out, more answers need to be answered. And until then, we're going to just keep talking. We're going to keep bringing light to it. We're going to keep having these conversations until, the whole step of the way, bro, until we figure out what's going on. But
the conversations are important. I think we're going to just keep doing this. We're going to keep, I don't know if it's going to be a weekly thing, eventually maybe even more frequently than that, but we're going to keep doing this. I think it's important to just have some non-paid regular dudes who, they're not just like regular dudes in the sense that they're not doing shit. Like we're busy dudes. We're involved in our communities. We're trying to build families and I think it's important to not just have the news anchor or the podcaster, even though admittedly we are trying to be podcasters, but the big institutional or near institutional podcasters I would say Ben Shapiro is a good example of that. Even though I still watch him, but I kind of watch him to get that perspective. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says anymore because of the fact that sometimes you listen to him, you're just kind of like, come on, dude.
He's it's like you said, so much pro side. It's people have to talk about it from a way of you can't talk about something and try to make it seem like everybody thinks they're correct. Yeah. Everybody thinks they're the smartest person ever. Everybody thinks that their way of thinking is the right way of thinking, and that the way they figured it out is the way that everyone else needs to figure it out. So you have to be able to talk in a manner to let it be known like that. This is just how I think. Now there's multiple different perspectives out here. There's multiple different ways that you can come at this viewpoint, but this is just my perspective. Where I think a lot of Ben Shapiro Nick, Myron,
Mhm.
like these guys try to make it seem like they're right. Everybody else is fucking wrong.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah, I think that's almost like falling on your own sword, because I feel like you can't. Not only can you not always keep it up, but I mean, that is what I'm trying to say. It's like you really aren't always right, and there really isn't ever like this 100% always right kind of thing. It's like
there's no right,
yeah.
there's like no right answer
Yeah.
to any type of, to have any opinion. There's no right answer to no opinion.